Hey everybody, how's it going? Nerve Funk, I see you there on Instagram. Yeah, today, this is an unscheduled stream, kind of a last minute thing. It's kind of to announce a video that I just put out on YouTube, which is actually an edited version of my live stream on Wednesday. Because on Wednesday, I was talking about the #1 question I get asked from aspiring producers, mixers, and engineers. And I answered those questions, but it went on for half an hour, and there's a bunch of goofy stuff that happened. And if you actually wanted the answers, you would have to wade through a bunch of silliness. So I edited it, put the most important points and advice on there, and now that's up on YouTube, and Kit's going to be putting up a link to the new video here. But I just thought I'd come in here and talk about it. There's actually something else that I've been thinking about, but I would talk about that. I'm going to talk about then. Oh, the cat's in here. We got a cat in the studio now. Great.
Oh, Gigi.
She's not normally allowed in here, but I see Raymond over there on YouTube. I see, hey Casey, what's up, man? I know it's last minute. I see Vermillion on Twitch, and today's just going to be, it's just going to be a short stream. I'm going to play a little bit of the video. Oh, I see Lady Shay Music's on here. I see Mike Hendrickson. That's on YouTube. Mark, sorry, I got bad eyesight. Oh, you just had dinner. Don't make me hungry, man. Oh, hold on. That reminds me, I got some chocolate. I got to take a bite of chocolate here. I'm going to play a couple clips from the video. And like I said, some of you may have seen this on Wednesday. This is just an edited version. If you watch the full version, you get to see me spill a glass of water and do a bunch of other crazy stuff. And I didn't injure myself. But I'm going to play. I'm going to play a little bit of this video. Oh, let me switch mouses here. This is a little bit of the video that is going out today. The #1 question I get asked all the time is, how do I get work as a producer, mixer, or engineer? And that's a question which doesn't have a simple answer, and there's a lot of other things to consider besides just getting the work. But I think it's something that's important to talk about, not just for a music career, but any kind of artistic career. So earlier today on my live stream, I ended up talking about this for a really long time, and you could go watch that replay, but you'd have to listen to me stumbling through my words from reverberating, getting my points out of order. I completely missed something, and the usual chaos that is my live streams. Oh my God.
Billy.
We're gonna shut. So this is an edit of that live stream, but it sticks to the best advice and answers that I can give you, and I hope it helps to answer your questions. It's broken into 3 sections. #1, first things first, being prepared. #2, getting the work. #3, keeping the work. Before you try to... So that's the beginning of the video. And like I said, it's an edit of an hour and 45-minute long video and a bunch of wacky stuff. And it's just, like I said, this is a question I get asked all the time, and I just figured it'd be easier to have the video up there. I can just point to people at it, because when people are saying, oh, how do I get work as a producer or mixer, it's not just about getting the work. It's about a lot of things. How you think about what you're doing, how you set yourself up for the work, the lifestyle. So that's what the video is about. Let's see. From Hungary, Peter, nice. It's nice to see everybody from Europe in here. You're worried for Healy over there on Twitch. You're worried about you are all about my Paul Reed Smith guitar, aren't you? Yeah. And Kit over here on Twitch is talking about a live stream I did on Twitch where I was playing guitar, and I ended up banging my forehead really hard with the guitar and cut my head, and didn't realize I'm playing until Jimmy, who was working with me, said, hey, you're bleeding. So I didn't want to stop, so she actually was down here patching up my forehead while I was playing guitar. That's the kind of crazy stuff that happens around here. I have been thinking a lot about getting work and moving forward in the business. And I think a lot of people's concerns are about AI. That's the thing I think about a lot, too. And I know it's kind of a monster that's staring us down, and nobody really knows what's going to happen. But I would like to say, although it's not as bad, when synthesizers came out and drum machines and all that, there were a lot of dire predictions back then, too. And yeah, a lot of people did lose work, but good drummers remained in demand, and I kept hiring them. I think AI is obviously going to be worse, but I think it's all the more reason why you need to make sure that if you're an artist or a producer or mixer, that you're doing something really unique, because there's going to have, and I also think it's going to have to be more than just music that you're putting out. It's going to have to be tied to something else, your life and real stories and stuff like that. I don't know where it's all going to go, but I've decided I'm not quitting. I'm going to keep moving forward. There were a lot of my friends that quit. Hey, and when digital audio came out, like Pro Tools and all that, I know engineers and people that quit because they just had this opinion like, well, now it's not going to be professional anymore. It's going to be home studios, which to a larger degree is true, but I just adapted my business. So I'm not going to stop. I mean, what else am I going to do? Make hush puppies? I don't know. See, and we can take some questions today too. Oh, hey, what's going on? I see Red. Oh my God, Crystal, I think I need new glasses. I can't see anything. Is that
Regiment Music?
Regiment Music. I think these glasses, I think I need a new prescription or something, because I had these glasses designed for my screen, but everything's in a different position now. So, okay. So Allen Intelligence Agency says studio
Alien, honey.
Alien. See, I need glasses. Studio. This is on YouTube. I smoked a bong and then fell backwards on my TR-8s and flattened a music stand. Oh man.
Yikes.
Yeah, I've thrown things. As a matter of fact, all right, I've talked about this before, but I'll talk about it again. Hey, let me grab this. Can you hand me that guitar right there? No. That one. There you go. So this is like, this guitar got thrown. That's all I'm going to say. I got really mad at a band rehearsal and threw this across the rehearsal room. And there's a crack up the back of the neck. Strangely, it stays in tune, but there's literally a crack that goes from here all the way up to there. So those were in my younger days when I used to get really mad. I don't ever get mad anymore. Right, Crystal?
Never.
Yeah.
Never.
I don't ever get mad. Mm-hmm. But yeah, and then I've fallen on stuff for sure. Okay, so Mark over on YouTube is asking, how my video where I talk about music sounds the same because everybody uses the same plugin. What will AI do? I don't know. I guess that's what you're asking. You said IA, but I think you mean
I'm assuming AI.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's just one of those things. There was so much that happened in the music business throughout my career. Like even rap music. Like I remember when rap music wasn't on the charts at all. And I was told by a particular famous person, producer guy, that I was throwing my career away by working on rap music. And then I ended up having multiple hit records and all that. And, I just kind of did it because I was friends with them. But I don't know. I just feel like if you want to adapt, if you want to keep forward, you're going to have to find a way. I haven't even touched any of the AI music stuff at all. I'm kind of scared to. I'm afraid I might like it. I like making my own music. I like making samples and beats. Oh, and by the way, I don't know, there was somebody on one of my YouTube videos, the one where I'm talking about music sounding the same, and I was talking about people using sample libraries that everybody can buy the same sample library, and I was talking about making your own samples and how people used to do that. So in the video that's coming out next week, I actually make some samples, and I think it's the best part of the video. It actually surprised me. It came out way better than I thought, and that'll be coming out hopefully in the next few days. It's going to be like a 30-minute long video. I kind of went overboard on that one. Oh, I see Johnny over here on YouTube. Doom Trooper. Yeah, Doom Trooper. That guitar, if you're talking about the pink one, it's actually just the Japanese version of it, but even those are kind of becoming collector's items. Let's see. Yeah, I guess I'll take some... hold on.
Yeah. Fragile is saying, I wouldn't worry too much about AI. If you want clean vocals and dynamic mixing, forget about it. AI can't touch it.
Oh, really? Yeah, I mean, eventually I think it's going to get so good that it'll be able to do all that stuff, but I don't know. I just feel like there's going to be room for people who just really stand out and do something different. I don't know. I mean, and maybe it'll throw us all out of work, and then what are we all going to do? Sit at home and I don't know. I mean, regardless what happens, I'm going to do what I want to do. I mean, the funny thing about my YouTube channel, and this is kind of the wacky thing about my YouTube channel. I've been doing it for 4 years, and I was told by people, make what you want to make. And I did it first, but I wasn't getting any views. So I started like, well, I guess I'll do videos about mixing and stuff, which I don't really like doing that stuff because A, it's really hard to do. It's kind of hard to explain. And I'm kind of interested in other stuff. And finally, I just got to the point where like, the hell with it. Oh, and they're like, oh, make these short videos. Don't make them too complicated, whatever. So I just got to the point where I just knew what I wanted to make. And the video I made called, Was It All Worth It or Was It a Waste of Time? Which is about basically getting this mixer in here and putting it in. It's one of my best videos. It kind of took off, but it took me 2 weeks to make, and it's got a ton of edits and a bunch of wacky stuff in it. But it was one of those things like I just figured I'd get 200 views on it. Maybe I'll get 200 views and to hell with it. I'm going to do what I want to do. I'm going to do what I want to do. And I feel like when I let go and not think about that stuff and just do the things that I'm really passionate about and dive in, that's the stuff that tends to work. Hopefully that holds out because next week, the video I'm putting out next week is another one of those. It's taking too long to get done, but we'll see. Hopefully everybody will watch it. Let's see if there's any questions. Yes, Raymond, I agree. I think I mean, there's going to be a certain amount of public. Oh, so what Raymond's saying on YouTube, he's saying, I believe that because young listeners can actually tell when it's AI, they'll seek music that's 100% human. And my kids are that way for sure. They sniff that stuff out. It will get to the point where people figure out that it's not real humans. And probably a lot of the public won't care. They'll just listen to whatever's played on the radio. But I don't think people in the long run are going to be really happy about following software. I mean, I could be wrong. I just feel like people want something tangible and real. And this is something I've noticed before AI came out. You got to realize I've been doing this a long time. And as technology has grown and we're relying more and more on like drum machines and loops and this standard stuff that everybody's got, a lot of it came from hip hop and rap, which got into pop. I started noticing 10 or so years ago, people really gravitating towards acoustic music. I mean, look at Billy Strings. Billy Strings plays bluegrass. Now, I know he does other stuff, but he's a diehard bluegrass dude, and he's selling out coliseums. And even the infamous String Dusters who I've worked with, they've got a great following. They're out there touring. And I do think that people in general are just thirsting for humans. Interactions, things that are real. And that's where I'm going because I can't help but be human and be real. So I don't know. We'll see where it all goes. If you'll be able to see my journey through it because that's basically where I'm at with the whole thing is like I feel like with a lot of the music I've worked on, with a lot of my career, it's all been kind of good, but there is a certain amount of people just trying to have a hit song. And yeah, it's nice to have a hit song, but I want to communicate. I want to tell stories and stuff. Bread and Water, I'm doing good. How you doing over there on Twitch? So Steve over on YouTube saying, you don't chase what you might think people want in content because...
Be you, because that's the win.
Yeah, be you. Exactly. And the funny thing about it, Steve, is I worked on the first Yin Yang Twins singles, Yin Yang Twins, the rappers, and Little John, and a bunch of those guys. Yeah, they were wanting to have hits, but you got to understand, I've known those guys for years, and all of them had tried to make rap music and hip hop, and eventually they just kind of did what they wanted. And you got to realize that the Little John music that we all listen to and go, oh yeah. When it came out, people hated it. When Yin Yang Twins came out, they hated it because it was a Southern sound. Most people in rap weren't used to the Southern sound, and Little John was using rave beats. Like people are like, why is he using those rave beats from those rave things? Like that's not what you put in rap songs. But he liked that stuff. He was going out to clubs and thought it was a cool sound. And I think there was a certain point with all of those guys, because like I said, I knew them. I went through other record deals with them and things didn't work out. Everybody just had this attitude like, well, what the hell with it? I'm just going to do what I want. I want it to sound like this. I want it to be wild and loud. That's what we do here in Atlanta. This is what we're doing at the clubs. Everybody looked down on it. And then next thing you know, Southern rap was the thing. But it was not what everybody thought you should do. And that's the same thing with a lot of huge artists, like records that you go back and listen to now and go, oh yeah, that was, that's the standard thing. So many of those records when they came out were considered ridiculous. I remember when Prince came out and did When Doves Cry, and I was like, who does he think he is putting reverb on the kick drum? And there's hardly any instruments in there. I thought it was the dumbest thing in the world. Like, I like Prince, but who does he think he is? And I was like, oh yeah, that was kind of genius. So, that's the thing I think people got to do. They got to throw away the expectations and just do what they want, Let's see. Are there any questions over here on YouTube? Oh, I'm going to play a little, you know what? I'm going to play another little snippet of the video I just put out. Let's see. Let me go to this one here. This is, like I said, this is from my Wednesday's live stream where I was talking about the number one question I get asked, and these are just little snippets of it. It's up on YouTube right now. I edited down the hour and 45 minutes to the important things. Me. So I started making this kind of rule that at any one moment, I always had one project that was a pet project that I picked out that I was going to do for that purpose, to get my work out there and heard, and also sometimes to challenge myself. Maybe they were doing something that was a little more country or a little more rock, but it always had to be somebody, and this is the key thing, it has to be somebody who's going out and actually doing something. Doesn't matter how good they are if they're just sitting in their house. You need to find people who are out gigging, self-promoting, and doing things. Another way you can do that if you don't know people like that is go out and go to where there are live performances. Go to open mics, go to see local bands, and listen to them and go talk to them and make friends with them. And you don't know where that's going to lead. That's one of the best things you can do. Like, just go out to the clubs and meet artists and expand your... I hate to say network because people always say, oh, we're going to network. I don't network. I don't think of it as networking. I think of it as making a lot of friends, building relationships, and that's how you should do it too. Go to the networking events, but don't think about networking. Oh, I'm going to hand out my business card and then they're going to call me up. No, make friends with people and be of value to them. So that's another snippet from the video. I see Baga Track over there on Instagram saying authenticity is the real thing. Be yourself. And it's kind of funny. Like it's an easy thing to say, but it's actually harder to do than you would think when the camera's on you or you're in front of a microphone. That's why I think you got to do it a lot. Like with the YouTube channel, I thought, oh, I'm being authentic. And I look back at those videos and realize, yeah, I mean, it was me, but I was still thinking too much about the camera. And it's the same thing in the studio. That's why when I'm recording people in the studio, I kind of almost trick them into thinking that they're not recording, or I just do it so much. I make them do so many takes that they kind of forget that they're recording, and they actually kind of get frustrated. And they're not. I was
going to say, and they might start getting mad at you, and then that improves their performance a little bit.
Yeah, they'll get mad at me, and they get to the point where they're worried about doing a good performance. They just want to get it done. So it's like, the hell with it. And then and usually that's when I get the take.
Right.
Because one of the most common things I say to people in the studio when they're doing vocals, I say, could you quit singing? Please don't sing. And they're like, what do you mean? I was like, you're singing. They're like, oh, let me breathe and let me stand this way. I was like, I don't want you to sing. I just want you to do what you do when you're in the car. Like when you're singing, when you're in the car, you're not thinking that you're singing. You're not even thinking about it. You're just doing what you love. I don't like it when people sing. I just want people to perform and tell the story. Mark on YouTube asks, is hip hop the new jazz? People used to say that there was this jazz element to hip hop, and it took me a long time to really understand it. And I do think with good hip hop, yeah, there's an element to it, because especially if you've ever been around freestylers before. When I first started working on hip hop and rap, it was always a crew at the studio, and they'd always go in this side room and they would do these battles where they would do freestyle battles. And I got to tell you, man, to me, that is like jazz. I don't even know how people do that. And they have all these words and phrases in their head, and they piece them together, and they put them, and it's all just going on. It's like, boom, right at the moment. And, so yeah, I think that's when it kind of opened my eyes. And I thought, yeah, it's not music the way we think about it, like complicated chords and melodies, but it's this creative thing, and they're kind of just... it's like a puzzle that they can take apart and put back together. I don't even know how to explain it. But yeah, I'd say there's a certain element to it that's like jazz.
Also, Johnny Funkson asked, have you ever done much reggae tracks? And if not, why?
Man, I used to be all about reggae. I had a studio client, God, this is back in the 80s, and he would go down, he would buy some tickets to the Reggae Sunsplash, which was a huge reggae music festival in Jamaica. And legends were playing there. And he would go down there and fly down there and buy extra tickets and just give the extra tickets to poor people who couldn't afford to get in. And he made me these mixtapes on cassette and got me into it. I just really got into it. And I had a band back in the 80s called Tin Jaw Joe. And I wouldn't say we were reggae by any means. Not like real reggae, but we integrated reggae into it. And we were recording all that on analog. I actually pulled out some of those tapes on another live stream and played some of them. I'm a little hesitant to play because at the time I thought we were really killing it, and I listened back and was like, it's kind of got a reggae thing in it. But I do want to swing back into it because there's such a vibe there. It's kind of weird that reggae hasn't. I used to hear it a lot more in the United States 20 years ago. You just don't. I mean, me personally and people I know, I don't hear it so much, but. I mean, yeah, maybe, you know what? Maybe I'll mess around with that. Maybe I'll try some reggae on a new song. Let's see. Yes, okay, Mark, you're talking about the Phil Collins drum sound. And yes, it was a talkback mic from an SSL, which is a mixer. And I guess they taped the button down and recorded the drums through the speakers. And it kind of reminds me, Mark, you're probably old enough to remember this. I'm just guessing from the fact that you know that. Do you remember like the old cassette boom boxes, you know, that you would have a couple speakers and it would have a couple mics on it and you could record on it. And those mics had like some sort of like compression. I don't know what it was. I had one of those and I don't know what I did with it. One of my tricks was to mic up a drum kit and then put one of those cassette boom boxes in the room, put it in record pause. So it's in record, but the tape's not playing, but it's sending the signal. And then my boom box had like RCA outputs on it. So I'd take those and run those out into the board and then put them on a couple tracks. And it was like this weird room mic sound. And I don't know what happened to that cassette boom box. That thing was such a sound, but some of those older cassette boom boxes had this crazy sound on those mics. So I don't know. I've been thinking about looking online, seeing if I can find one. It's such a great sound. Let's see. Any other questions?
Well, we were just talking about somebody asked, and I'm sorry I can't pronounce that. It's in a Cyrillic language, but says, do you make all your videos, shorts, and montages and upload them by yourself?
I do it all by myself, except for this live stream. Kit's here doing the questions and comments and all that. Normally I have Harper here, but he's here on Wednesdays. As far as the videos for the most of it, I'm doing it all by myself. I can't really afford to pay anybody. One of my kids comes out and helps me film sometimes if I got to do some stuff outside, which is it's good in some ways, but kind of bad in the other because he comes up with too many ideas. No, you got to stand here and we're going to do this angle from here. No, I don't like the way you walked across there. Let's do another shot. Last week I was trying to do a thing. Somebody sent me a turntable to play records on, and if I like it, I'm going to put it in a video, but I wanted to film getting the box, right? So I said, hey, one of my kids, come on out and film me picking up the box and just carrying it in the house. It took 45 minutes because he was like, I don't like the way you picked up the box. Oh, no, you need to walk across here. No, walk in the other. Oh, my God. So, yeah, sometimes the help helps. Sometimes
I could make
it doesn't.
a comment, about like apples and trees.
What now?
There's the saying that the apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
Oh. Oh, you know what? I don't like the way that camera looks on you. Hold on.
What are you...
There. Oh, it just wasn't pointed down enough. It's got to be pointed down enough. Anyway, hold on. Hey, Kit, real quickly, say something. I was going to play one more clip while I get that clip ready. Can you say something?
You didn't warn me that you were going to be throwing this on me again. I put the link up. You guys don't forget that Billy just released a new video on YouTube. It's from our last live stream, and he edited a lot of that down into something a little more succinct. Although the full live stream is also available on the YouTube channel under live. So
hey, can I make this text bigger here?
I don't know.
Still, I mean, come on. Sorry, guys. This is just kind of a... Oh, I lost my mouse. It's kind of a laid back... Oh, I'm on the wrong damn platform here. Got two computers going. Just kind of a more
Alien Sound Systems asking us about what you think of some new reggae or hip hop, and has, a few bands here: Dirty Heads, Sublime with Rome, their new album, or Stick Figure 311.
You know what? This is making me think about something, because I see up here, where was it? Johnny Funkson. Was it Johnny Funkson? Somebody was asking about me listening to some reggae, that if he would send me, send me some links. Here's the problem. Sometimes I say, hey, get in touch with me, and people send me links, and sometimes it's in Instagram Messenger or Facebook Messenger and an email or whatever. But you know what? You're giving me an idea, because there's a lot of talk about new bands and all that. And this actually ties into the video I did about why does all music sound the same today? And people just jumped on my ass as if I never listened to new music. I was just, of course, talking generally. So you should listen to so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so. So I got this big list that I've been making, and I'm going to probably make a video about it. But it just occurred to me, maybe on my Discord channel, maybe we have a channel, a place on my Discord where people could go do stuff like that. Say, well, here's some cool reggae, so that everybody can see it, and then I can go there, because I do want to hear new music.
Oh, yeah, that's exactly what Fragili's recommending, Discord.
Yeah. Hey, Casey, are you online?
Yeah, he is.
Casey, could you pop over to Discord? I know, Casey, hey, we need another channel, Casey. I don't know what we'd call it, but Casey, why don't we make I don't know what we'd call it, but let's make a Discord channel for that sort of thing. If somebody, and please don't abuse it, people. I don't want you just putting your own bands. We've got a promotion channel, by the way, and let me be very clear about this. We have a promotion channel to promote your music, and you can do it like once every 2 weeks. But if you've got something that you just feel that is important, or you feel like is a cool band, somebody else, not your own music, maybe we should have a channel on Discord, on my Discord server. And, Johnny, you could put up the reggae stuff, and I think that'd be great. And that's a place we can hear it, because in spite of my video where I said all music is sounding the same, and I got kind of criticized for that, there is a lot of great stuff out there. One of the bands people talked about was, oh my God, it was this crazy name, something in the funky, oh my God.
Yeah, with Lizard and...
yeah, King Lizard and the Wizard Gizzard, or King Gizzard and the Wizard Lizard. And I was like, the name sounded so silly, so I went and checked them out, and I need to listen to it a bit more. But the very first thing I saw was a live video. So I listened, that's kind of cool. And then boom, there was a drum solo. I'm like, they do drum solos in their concerts? Oh man, I got to check this band out. They're actually doing drum solos. So the thing is I would love to be turned on to new music. My buddy Slade turned me on to a band out of Texas. And I don't even know how to describe it. It was like hip hop alternative. And it kind of, in a weird way, it kind of sucked. Like, vocals were off and all that, but yet there was I actually really liked it. I don't normally like stuff like that, but they were doing this thing, and I was like, huh? I can't remember the name. I need to put together a whole video about that.
Oh, so are we talking, I was half listening while you were talking about the new channel on Discord. Would this be for critiques specifically?
No, it's just to talk
share
about
cool new music.
We got to come up with a cool name though, like cool, man, I don't know, like cool, innovative.
So this is for people to share stuff that they're listening to, just things that they enjoy that they think are really cool.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
my YouTube video and the comments on there really got me thinking about it. It's like,
Casey's suggesting music hangout.
okay,
That's cool.
that's cool, Casey, I like that. By the way, Casey, he's over on Twitch, Casey5181, is one of my biggest supporters and helps us out a lot with Twitch and also the Discord channel. He's kind of basically running it for us.
Yeah.
At this point, I think he's kind of the main guy over there, and he actually understands
I keep promising Casey I'm gonna. Oh yeah, I'll talk to you about this, and I'll help with this, and I've just been so busy that
it. So slammed right now.
I just sorry,
Crazy
Casey.
stuff. Okay, on Instagram from Robin. Hey Billy, what are your thoughts on following the same trend in music? Because I find many producers make the same kind of music that goes viral. Well, yeah, of course. I mean, I know a lot of young producers, and they're. it's a double-edged sword. If you're just doing something really different, it might not get some traction. But if you got to make some money, you got to go do it. So I don't know. Thanks so much, Raul, for the tip on YouTube. God, awesome. I think I've just been... It's hard for me to point at other people and say, you're just copying somebody, whatever. My life has been different. I think I've been in a situation where the music business was easier to make money at back in the day. I'm really good at copying a sound. It's kind of how I learned. So I was able to copy almost anything. So I could go do that kind of work, but at the same time, I could like poke out and say, okay, I'm going to do this thing here. I'm going to do, and there was always something in my work as a mixer, an engineer, and producer, whatever, where maybe the client wanted to sound exactly like somebody, and I don't actually have a problem with that if they're honest about it, but I would still always have something unique in there. And for some reason, for me personally, when I do something really different, it tends to work. Doesn't always work for other people. So I don't really get angry at people that are doing that sort of things because, and I don't want to be mean about this, but I think some people don't necessarily have original ideas. Now they have they make great catchy music, but it's not different. I'm kind of the opposite, actually. If I try to make a record that sounds like that stuff, I'm not any good at it. It's a weird thing. There's actually a skill to making music that sounds like everybody else. That also becomes popular and people like to listen to. That's actually an art form in itself. It's not what I want to do. But yeah, so I don't really have a bad opinion about it. They're going to do what they're going to do, and I'm going to do what I'm going to do. Keeping it real with Billy. I thought I was freaking out over here. Okay, Mark, which piece of outboard gear do we blow up today? I'm not blowing up anything, man. How many pieces of gear, Mark, I'm sure you know, there's got to be some gear that at one point you thought, oh, this is terrible. And then you either got rid of it and wish you still had it, or you kept it and then later on was like, oh my God, that's amazing. I bought a brand new Roland TR-909 back, I guess it was in the 80s when it came out, I don't even remember. And then the TR-505 and other ones came out and the drum sounded more real, and I hated my 909. I think I sold it to somebody for $50 or $30, and now oh God. I can't believe I got rid of it. So I don't get rid of anything now. As a matter of fact, and I've probably shown this on the live stream before, I've got this. This is a Tom Schultz Sustainer. Oh, hold on. Got it in the pawn shop. God, back in the 90s, brought it home. It's like, stuck it on a shelf for like, I don't know, 10 or 15 years. And the last few years I've taken it out. I was like, ooh, I like that. So it's like, I don't blow up anything. But however, I will burn a couch. Oh, I wish I had my couch burning footage here. I like burning things. So I'll burn couches, I'll burn chairs, I'll burn other things out in the field. But
the couch burning was an epic and enjoyable party, I have to
Yes,
say.
the couch. I kept meaning to make a video about the couch burning. I mean, I never got around to it. That was a great party, right? But I think it's like already time for another couch burning, or we got to burn something here.
Braxel was asking, do you like the band Max Sabbath, where they dress up like evil McDonald's characters and make their own version of Black Sabbath songs?
Max Sabbath. I don't know. I'll go check that one out. Max Sabbath. I don't know. I wish I had more time in my life.
I know, right?
I hear stuff like that, and it's like I would totally do something like that, but I don't even have time for the things I really need to do and want to do. Raymond, yeah, bring your couch over here. Are you anywhere near North Georgia? Bring your couch, we'll burn it. But yeah, Max Sabbath. I have all these cool ideas about funny band things I could do and all that. And like, God, I don't have any time for that,
Fragili wants to point out to everybody that UAD is having a big sale on plugins right now. If anybody's looking for something they've had their eye on.
Yeah, go check it out. I mean, I will say, because of my YouTube views and Instagram and all that, I've had a bunch of people send me plugins, and I've tried out some of them. And I got to tell you, most of them, but and I'm not just saying this because they gave me a bunch of plugins, but I got to tell you, I do like those Universal Audio plugins.
Yeah, it's funny. Billy was accused on another YouTube video of being a Universal Audio shill, and he's not. But
I'm not a shill,
he
but they
does
did.
really love
They
them.
did give me. Well, look, Universal Audio gave me all their plugins. You know how many of them I use on a regular basis? 2.
But those two
are great. I just don't have time to. I don't know. It's
well,
kind
you
of
don't
like
use a ton of plugins anyway.
yeah. It's kind of like I actually and so the video I'm working on that's coming out next week, which is an answer to my video about why music all sounds the same. I wanted to demonstrate how to make samples. And I have a plastic trash can, a water jug, a pan, a couple other things. I do it using just a 57 and a cheap mic from the 70s that plugged into a stereo, and I'm not using any plugins. I'm just going straight in the computer, and I'm using stock Ableton plugins, just the stock stuff. And I tell you, it's like I can do almost anything I need to do with most stock plugins. The only time I feel like I can't do something is like certain reverbs, and if I'm looking for a very particular type of compression. But man, I don't give it. I don't care, man. Like I think when it comes to art, you get addicted to certain tools and all that. And I feel like if you're going to create something, you're going to create something regardless. Give me 2 or 3 of these 57s and some stands, some cables, 8 channels, and some guitars and some drums to bang on or whatever. I'll make something, and I'll make it cool, and I'm not bragging. It's just because I'm going to have fun with it. I'm not going to get caught up in like, oh, there's got to be this thing here. You know, that's my opinion. Let's see. Oh, okay. So roller skating is asking on YouTube, what are your thoughts on amp simulators? Do you ever use them in the studio? Asking because I've just bought Alti 2.5 and have great fun with it. I got to tell you, man, I think they're pretty good. In the video where I'm talking about why music all sounds the same, in part of the video I was like, oh, I need to show an amp model, but I literally have the only amp models I had on my computer. I like the free ones that come with Pro Tools, just kind of suck. And then I remembered, oh, Universal Audio gave me these plugins. I should look. And I found these amp models on there, which were fucking amazing. And you could move the mics. Yes, I still feel like you're going to be stuck into something because there's going to be less variation than you can do in my other room. And I got a bunch of amps in there. But man, some of them are really good. But my thoughts on it, here's the thing I do roller skating is I will use amp models. Sometimes I just want to get something done. So I'll just go ahead and use something quick. But to me, the magic is like maybe double your parts, do one with an amp model and do one with an amp. And blending that together, oh my God, now that is a sound, because there's something about software amps that it just sounds like it's here, right in your face. It's like right up against your head, which is kind of good in some ways, kind of bad in others. But when you blend that with an amp where there's some air, and then you pan those suckers apart, wow, that's a sound right there. So that's one of my tricks. I just play the guitar part twice and do one through an amp. And let me tell you, you don't need a super expensive amp. I use these first act amps, like the ones they make for little kids that you buy in a toy store. I find them in Goodwill for like $10. I've got 3 of them in the back room, and I use them all the time. I think those things are great. Yes, Ryan Pitchford, that you're absolutely right. Limitation makes for great art. And actually, I want to make a video about limitations, like, and this is something I always challenge people to. Next time you're working on a song, limit yourself to certain things. Like instead of using every software instrument you have, just use one. Only use that one and see if you can use it for your drum sounds and everything. Just say, I'm only going to use the built-in delays or reverbs in whatever DAW you're in or something like that. Just try it. Just try it. Because that's how people made music back in the day, back in the 70s, back when people talk about these records, because they didn't have all those choices. So they're kind of forced like, okay, we got an organ, a Rhodes, some guitars. What can we do? Well, let's run the Rhodes through the guitarist's flanger pedal. We got to do something to mess the sound up. And they would end up coming up with all these wacky techniques because there weren't many choices. So if you limit your choices, it'll force you to dig into those tools really, really super deeply. And you'll probably discover something that you never would have otherwise. It's one of the reasons I don't like having too many tools, because I don't want to just be sitting here looking through the plugins. When I got all those Universal Audio plugins, I think I wasted 3 hours down here going, oh, that's cool, that's cool. And it's like, I got work to do, and I haven't really gotten back yet. I think I pulled up the LA2A recently. There's one, dang it, it's the one that does the really good mid-range. I can never remember the name of it.
I did throw up a link. You have a video called, what is it, stock plugins versus third-party plugins?
Yeah.
Because, it's about, I think you said stop the insanity about the number of plugins, for that video. So I threw that link up.
Yeah, it's kind of almost sad how few plugins I have right now. I actually wish I had some more. I do need to get this string library, the Audio Bros LA scoring strings, which I think are the best. They're kind of expensive. I just can't afford it right now. That's the one plugin I want because, the built-in stock ones are not that good.
Dimitri's been asking, what do you think about recording synths by micro?
What do you mean by micro? Is that, where's the question at?
It should be...
Now, when you say by micro, is that like a brand? Or is micro a technique of recording that I don't know about? We record our synths by micro, and it's these little teeny mics and little mic pre's and
Nano
little
recording?
teeny cables, and they plug it in, and it's fucking amazing. Yeah, Dimitri, please clarify, because I don't know what that means.
Mark is saying also that they had a Casio Kids synth, really small. It had a mic, and you could store a small piece. And he did this with a wine glass and a wet finger. You won't believe how good it sounded.
Yeah, I love that kind of stuff. Well, you guys just need to check out my video. It's coming out next week. I've got a couple surprises in there.
Real quick, Harper is on here. Hey, Harper.
Harper.
He says he's about to order the new ear pads for your headphones. Do you want some with cooling gel infused in them?
No, I'm good, man. You're getting pads for the head. Yeah, all my headphone pads are wearing out. Thanks, Harper.
They all shed little bits of stuff now.
I love these headphones, but man, the pads are coming apart, man. Okay, hold on. Oh, so Dimitri, you're saying recording synths with a microphone.
Oh, interesting.
I might put that in the video. I got to finish this video. I've done it in the past. One of my favorite things to do with a synth is, hold on, let me grab this. There's a kitty cat in here. Running the synth through like guitar pedals. So this one is one of my favorites. I got this a million years ago. This is Electro Harmonics Baseballs. It's like what would you call this? This is a
you've got it.
It's a filter. I don't know what the heck it's called, an auto filter or something like that. I like running synths through that. Also running a synth through like a cheap guitar pedal. This is called the Overlord. It's the Overlord distortion pedal from the 90s, and it's so powerful it requires 2 9-volts. Of course, the back fell off of it. I got to put a Velcro on it to hold it in. So I like doing that. I haven't actually tried doing synths out, like doing amp through a speaker, but yeah, man, like that kind of stuff is like, hell yeah. Yeah, I like doing that. I mean, I haven't done it with a synth. I've done it with drums. I've run drum kits out through speakers before, and I've done it with vocals. Never done it with a synth for some reason, but I guess I'll try it and put it in the new video. So there you go. I'm going to take your suggestion. Who is that said that? Was it Dimitri?
Dimitri.
All right, Dimitri. Okay, can you write that down?
Yes.
Dimitri, I'm going to mention you in my new video. I'm going to say Dimitri said...
Okay, hold on. What part am I writing down? Recording synths by micro? Oh,
yeah,
microphone.
For the new video that I'm taking forever to work on. Because
it's going to be a monster. It's pretty great.
It's going to be crazy. Oh my God. It's got a lot of stuff in it. But I was going to talk about recording things out through amps. So I will mention your name. Crystal, make sure that I say Dimitri Kalin. Can you write that down?
I'm working on it.
I'm going to call you out, man. I'm going to call you out because now you're going to make me do another 3 hours worth of work. But I'm going to do it, okay? I'm going to do it. Jimmy on YouTube, how do you find me on Discord? Kit, you should just put the link up. There it is.
Also, where'd it go? Proper Einstein was asking, do you ever record in your studio? Because they're in East Georgia.
Yeah, I record all the time for people that pay. Not so much work these days. The work. Once you get the work. Here's the funny thing about my YouTube channel. I mean, I'm really pushing this thing, but I'm experiencing this thing with the YouTube channel that I experienced when I won a Grammy. I actually lost work. You get a Grammy and people are like, congratulations, I'm not going to call you anymore. I'm like, why? Well, now that you got a Grammy, you'll never work with me. And now with my YouTube channel, I'm getting a lot of views now and there's more attention. So I think people are like not calling me because like, he's too busy. And yeah, I mean, I am busy, but you know, I had 2 people cancel last month. Damn it. But yeah, if you want to talk to me about recording, Kit, she's going to stick up a contact email. It's basically just contactbillyhume@gmail. I still work for a living. I am not independently wealthy. I still got to pay bills. I would like to go on a vacation at some point, just a small one, you know. I love what I do. And yeah, I don't make as much money as I used to, but I do work and I love what I do.
Well, the cool thing is like if your YouTube channel can keep growing the way it is now, you'll be able to put so much more time into the videos there.
Yeah.
And
I mean, even if I was
content.
making enough money on YouTube to not have to take sessions, I'm still going to do sessions. I mean, that's what I do. I think be on my music. And there's a lot of people I'd like to collaborate with that don't necessarily have the money, but I would just like to work with them anyway. So it's going to keep happening. So Carlos, over on Instagram, I'm at a corporate sound gig at the airport in Amsterdam.
Oh, cool.
All about aircraft, space, and... Whoa, what? Oh, man. Are you recording... You're recording aircraft and stuff at the airport in Amsterdam? That is so cool. Oh, man. Come back and show us a link to that when you're done, man. Sounds really, really cool. What's a vacation, right, Mark? Yeah. And usually our vacations are pretty humble.
Actually, we'd like to go up. We want to go back over to Western North Carolina because there are a few places that are starting to reopen after Hurricane Helene, and they need the tourist dollars that they normally get in the fall.
I don't think Sylva, North Carolina, was hit too bad. That's our favorite town these days. So hadn't been able to go back in a while, just because there's stuff to do and
lots of stuff to do.
Kids and anyway, let's see. Yeah, Roximo, you wouldn't mind a Grammy. It's cool. It's a statue. Weighs a lot. Let's see. Dimitri, you said you like running analog synths like Arturia or MS-20 through the guitar amp. Man, I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try it. It's gonna be in the video. I promise. Mixmaster, what's going on? Thanks so much, Pete, over on YouTube. I'm going to play one more clip from the new video that I just put up, and then I probably got to go because I promised one of the kids we'd go out to the park and actually get in the sunshine. So here's a little clip of the new video that I just put up on YouTube. Keeping the work. Once you get the work, how do you keep the work? You need to be the best at your work, and your work needs to be bulletproof. You can't take any shortcuts. Whether you're a producer, a mixer, or engineer, you can't go, nobody will notice it. Trust me, people will notice or they'll sense that something's wrong. Your work has to be bulletproof because the only thing that matters is what comes out of the speakers. At the end of the day, the only thing that matters is what comes out of the speakers. So yeah, that's another little clip from the new video. Got a good question over here on... hold on, let me read this right here. On YouTube, or was it? Okay, Jackson Marlowe on YouTube, he says, Billy, when you're in your process, do you start thinking about limiting for loudness, if at all?
When in the process?
When in the process. God, I need new glasses. I mean, usually in the mix. I never do any of that when I'm tracking. I don't put anything on my master bus when I'm tracking and I'm working on a song. I just want to be in the vibe. I want to feel the dynamics and all that. When I'm mixing, I would say, I work on the instruments and the drums and the vocals and all that. I don't know at what point. At some point, I do start sticking things on there. And I've also got kind of a little bit different method to the way I mix. I have an instrument master. And also, all my instruments go into this one master. And it's got like a little compressor that I barely hit. It's emulating a SSL. It's the UBK compressor by, I can't remember the names of anything. Anyway, and then I do the same thing on the vocals. Very slight compressor in there. Then those go to the master, and then the master has, this the one universal plugin I use all the time. It's the Shadow Hills compressor, but I'm barely hitting it. And then I might put a limiter after that. But it's I don't know, maybe about 3/4 of the way through the mix, I'll start putting it on there because it's going to change the sound. You don't want to just stick it on at the end because then it changes everything. So there's going to be a point, and I also turn it off and on. But there's not like this set way of doing things. I kind of mix everything slightly different. I don't use templates. I don't ever do things the same way. It takes me longer to work. But to me, everything is a unique experience and a unique sound. And I kind of don't use templates for that reason. I don't want to get lazy. I've got some, track presets, but I don't know. I tried using templates. It actually seemed to take longer. I kind of like the idea. To me, mixing and production, but especially mixing, it's like making something out of clay. You get this hunk of clay and you drop it down. It's just this blob, and you start doing this and you do that and you do this. To me, mixing it with a template is like making something with clay, but you start with a mold. It's like, oh, we got some clay, here's a mold, boom, and then you put it down, and then you do something to it. I'm like, what's the fun in that? Where's the uniqueness in that? I want something that's going to be, maybe I'm old-fashioned, but that to me, I mean, isn't that kind of the fun of it all? Oh yeah, so for Healy, you're saying limiters on the master are to save your speakers if someone walks in and decides to use your board without you knowing. You know what? I've got fuses on my speakers. Because a couple times, I hadn't done it in a long time. A couple times I actually got a little carried away and I blew the fuse before it blows the speaker. And you can hardwire those in on your positive line, your hot wire. And that's something that a lot of people do. Some people will say, oh, you shouldn't do that. It's like, I'm trying to save my speakers. Let's see.
Alex asks, what were your thoughts when you had your first song that got nationwide attention? I remember when Yin Yang Twins' Whisper Song used to play in the club when I was young. What was the big
the first song that ever got played on the radio, I didn't realize it was on the radio. I had played mandolin on a song for, was it, I think it might have been a Little John song, or maybe it was the Lyrical Giants. I can't remember. It was Trick Busta. That was the street name. And I played mandolin on it and I mixed it. But at the time, I didn't realize that Little John, I mean, he wasn't super famous back then, but he was, pretty well known. I didn't know that. He was just like a friend of Bones. So I remember going out and hearing the song coming out of a car, and I'm playing mandolin right there. That mandolin is coming out of that car right there. And I thought, wow, he's got a lot of friends. He must have given him a cassette. And I thought, that guy, he knows a lot of people. I didn't even know it was on the radio. And it took me a couple more weeks to figure out it was on the radio. It was just like local. I think it was like regional hit. And I actually have rarely heard anything I've done on the radio because I don't listen to the radio very much and I'm normally working. I think one time I went to a big club in Atlanta when Bones' album Attention came out, and I was there, and for the first 30 minutes or so, every song they played was something I had mixed. And that was the first time I was like, because people told me I was working on big records. I'm working all the time. But I was like, oh, I thought they were just saying that to be nice or something like that. And I was like, oh, I am working on hit songs. It's like, yeah, I was like, but the pressing. So at first, so for 30 minutes, I'm hearing my mixes, right? I'm like, yeah. And then they played some by, oh my God, I'm so terrible with names, by the guy we saw at Tree Sound. Oh my God, Ray C. They played some songs that Ray C had mixed, right? And I was like, oh, yeah. He's a way better mixer than me. And a lot of it was, too, because I'm thinking about mixing in terms of stereo speakers. And when you get into a club, it's like PA speakers, like horns. And I remember hearing some of his mixes in the studio and thinking, it's kind of harsh or whatever. And then I realized, oh, he's mixing for the club. His stuff was just banging. Kind of changed the way I thought. It made me realize, like, you got to mix kind of thinking about where is the song going to get played, And it was kind of life-changing. But yeah, how did I feel? I mean, I felt good. I think I was just usually too tired to care. It was like, oh, that's great. I got to get to the studio. I got to go to bed. Raymond, I normally do everything at 48K. You got 48K versus 96K. I've mixed some stuff that we did at 96K on some bluegrass records. It's not like I've sat down and like A-B'd them. You know, all I know is that most of this stuff sounds pretty good. I mean, you got to realize, man, I come from the days where we were doing stuff on cassette 4-tracks. You know, people would actually sometimes record on cassette 4-tracks and transfer them to a 24-track and add on, and that would be the record. And analog tape, there's like this romantic view of it. Yeah, a lot of it sounded good, but it didn't always sound the same. And you could be in the best studio in the world, and there could still be some issues with some of the analog gear where things would get messed up. And nowadays, it's like, hey, man, stuff sounds pretty good. I don't really get hung up on that stuff. I stick with 48K just because it's video standard, 24-bit, 48K. I've been thinking about maybe jumping up to 32-bit on the Pro Tools thing. There's like some people that talk about the technical aspects of it. Maybe I'll do it. To be honest, I hate to sound like an idiot. I don't think about that stuff so much. I mean, yeah, as long as it sounds pretty good, I work. I'm kind of more concerned about like, hey, does that sound cool? Was it the vibe there? Were we in the pocket, man? I like the way you drag that section there. I like how you scrape the pick. I don't give a shit about the other stuff. As long as it sounds pretty good, I don't care. Okay, so Mark, you're saying, do you think radio stations mess up your creation because they use Orban, Optimods, and Prico acoustic stuff and such? I have no idea what that stuff is, but I can guess what it is because I know the radio stations are tailoring their sound. God, there was one here in Atlanta, and they were playing some rock stuff I liked, and it just sounded, I was like, are these remixes? Like, what is going on? Like, I don't know if there's some stereo widening thing, and it was getting rid of the center. It was terrible. I mean, it's like one of those things, like, it doesn't, does it kill my creativity? No, I'm going to do what I'm going to do. I'm going to put my mixes out, and God knows where they're going to get played. Who knows? I'm going to make it the way I want to make it. There's nothing I can do about a radio station playing it or God. And I will tell you, there's something that, this goes back to the days when I was working with Rick Beato, and Rick said, you want to get really depressed? Take some of your favorite mixes, put them on a CD, go to like Best Buy or something like that, and just go in and play it on the stereos that they got set up just for demo, right? Just put them there and play it, and don't change anything. Just go down. And I did, and I realized like, oh man, people are like putting on the surround sound setting or doing all this stuff, and some of it sounded terrible. And I'm like, oh my God, I didn't think about it. Like people, they get your music and they put it on the stereo, and God knows how they're turning the. They put the mono button on. Like I've been to people's houses, and I'm like, why does it sound weird? And I'm like, oh hey, you should turn. But the point that Rick made that was really good, he said, here's the thing they all have in common. They all have mid-range. Because most of that stuff is going to affect, it can do some stuff with the left and right, but if you can nail the mid-range, you're going to be good. So I don't worry about that stuff. I just try to make sure that it's going to, I focus on the low end and the high end, but if I can get some stuff happening then mid-range, it kind of like, make sure it's going to translate. Oh, thanks so much for the tip. Preeminent Game. Thanks so much. Awesome. Let's see if there's anything else. Mark, you got a lot of good ideas. You're gonna have to come over here and work on something with me or something or use a flanger straight to the track at the same time. Oh no, I think this is something else. Hold on, Mark. I'm gonna show you something. All right, Mark, this is a test. See how old you are. All right, Mark? All right. Do you recognize this? Mark?
So hands up, whoever recognizes that. Is that what this is here?
I don't know. This was given to me by Chick Cusack, who ran Atlanta Pro Audio here in Atlanta for years. It was like the place all the studio people bought gear. He would always give me things. He walked in one day and says, you want a flanger? I'm like, sure. I love this thing. It kind of cuts down. Even when it's in bypass, it kind of distorts it a little bit. But I put this on bass guitar all the time, just barely in there. I love that. I like to get some more like this. And he also gave me like one of those old DBX compressors that's just got the one slider knob. But, oh yeah, Mark, okay. You're old like me if you know what this is. Yeah, love this thing, man. It's one of my secret weapons. And look, here's another thing that's funny about this thing. Think about a guitar pedal that has a built-in three-prong plug. This thing, they used to make things. No wall wart, man. That's old. But you know what? Here's the thing. Here's something I want y'all to think about. I want you to think about this. Check this. I don't even know how old this thing is. And you could probably buy something like this for pretty cheap. I got it for free. It was given to me. It still works. It still works. Nobody's going to cancel the subscription on this thing or change, upgrade the plugin and it sounds different. You're not going to have to go, I got to get a new computer. This still works. That's all I'm saying, okay? Is there something crazy going over there on Twitch?
No, actually, they're talking about live DJs and mixing live sound, and honestly, I'm not quite following
I don't understand what's going on there right now. Casey's on it, I think, though.
Oh, no, that's me. That pause is me. I'm supposed to allow...
Oh.
There we go.
There's so much stuff I have no idea what's going on these live streams. Real tape flanger. Oh, you know what? So on YouTube, it's I can't read that. My eyesight's CM.
Oh, what are you looking for?
CMKMNKY.
Real tape flanger.
Real tape flanger. You know, that's something I've never tried. And I got this reel-to-reel back here that I've made a video about it. It's finally working. I've been using it for tape echo. And that's one of the things I've been wanting to do is actually use it as a flanger with all my spare time. But yeah, that's one of my things. Okay, hold on. Kid, do you have a place where you put notes? Because we got the thing where I got it now because Dimitri said I got a mic, a keyboard now. Great. Now it's CMKMNKY. I can't read that. Thanks. Now I got to do the tape flanger. Please write that down.
Okay.
Great. Y'all are giving me all this work to do. Yeah, I'll put that. I'm not going to put it in the next video, but I will. Huh?
I said, give me a break. You love it.
I know. I love it. So let's see. I hope I'm not missing anybody.
Well, Harles Bish Quinn asked, do you have any advice for aspiring musicians? Would you recommend getting into a major record label or independent one? I actually started to answer this, but you take it away from there. I said that they should do as much themselves as possible because anybody worth their salt that might get on board and help you, whether it's a record label or a manager or anybody else, these people want to jump on a moving train.
Well, I guess what I don't... Hold on, I got to eat some chocolate. Where's the question at? Oh, there, I see it.
Okay.
Would you recommend getting into a major record label or independent one? I mean, as a musician, I don't understand the question because, when I think of a musician, I think of a guy who gets hired to go play on people's records. An artist gets signed to a label. Are you thinking about doing studio work for a label? I'm not sure where the question comes from.
As a musician.
As a musician, I mean, I would just go work with everybody I could. I guess I'm not sure exactly what the question is because are you trying to get a record deal? I mean, me personally, I would not get a record deal at all. At all, unless I had so much going on that I could negotiate a deal with them and maybe license the masters or have some sort of partnership because they're going to take so much of your damn money. You're not going to own your masters. They're going to take a cut of your publishing. I would say if you're a musician, I would go out and I would do everything from playing cover gigs in local bands in between other things to make some money, to getting session work, to putting stuff up on, social media, just me playing. I would do everything I can. I would just gig all the time. That's what I would do. And then, but I wouldn't focus on record labels so much if you're starting out. I don't really know how, not sure if I totally understand, but what it is that you're trying to get. But if you're a musician, you want to make a career as a musician, I would just play with everybody. Okay, hold on. He's saying, I was just thinking about maybe getting a record deal or not. Yeah, man, like Harles. Oh, Harles. God, I can't read. I need new glasses. Yeah, man, I hate to say it. And you could spend years chasing after a record label and almost getting a deal. I know people around here in Atlanta that spent years trying to get a record deal, and that was their whole focus. And they spent 10 years doing that. And after a while, they get kind of burnt out. But they would have all this time I think something's going to happen. I think something's going to happen. Or I'm meeting this guy. Or is going to... They never actually got into the habit of just making the damn music. or doing gigs. So in 10 years, they only did a handful of gigs because, it's a showcase for a record label. In the meantime, there's other guys like, I'm just going to go do it anyway. The hell with that shit. Like, I'd say, Harles, get out there and just play. Play for everybody and record and do stuff online and just play everywhere you can. I have friends that, do this for a living all the time, like especially a lot of guys that I met through Bone Crusher who are like pro musicians, and you'll see them on an international tour with a star, and then you can catch them at a Mexican restaurant when they're not on the road. They just play all the time. They'll play anywhere, and they do it all the time, and they do studio work. So I think that's the main thing. But the hell with the record labels, man.
Well, the socials is pretty important too.
Yeah, do something on social media. I think there's a whole other conversation going over here on Twitch. Is that a question for me, or is he talking to Casey?
No, Casey and Fragile are talking shop. They
got their own thing going on over there.
Yeah.
I can't keep up with it. Echoplex, Mixmaster. You bring up a sad memory. I had an Echoplex. I toured on the road with an Echoplex back in the 80s. I carried that big old thing around. And I hated it because it was tape. It seemed like something my dad would have. And I was in Florida doing a gig. I went to a local music store and they had one of these brand new Ibanez analog delays that was like that big. So I quit using the Echoplex. And the keyboardist, who was way smarter than me, said, "Hey, I'll trade you a pair of tennis shoes for that Echoplex." Yes. I traded my Echoplex for a pair of tennis shoes. I'm admitting it here. Brings me tears.
Was that, you did a video and that tells this story in there. Was that where, was it I Got Carried Away Again? No, not I Get Carried Away Again. Why Do I Do Things the Hard Way? I think that was it, because that was the one where you went through and you talked about making a tape delay, I believe.
Was that the one? I thought it was the one where I was messing. I don't know, because Kane from Yin Yang Twins was here. Do part of that video.
That's the one with Kane in the
Was that
thumbnail.
tape delay or wah-wah pedals? I can't remember.
Well, both, actually. Because
I got carried away again.
Yes, because you got carried away.
All I know is like, I traded the Echoplex for a pair of tennis shoes. I sold my Tira 909 for like $50. I sold my Music Man HD 130 head for, I don't even want, I just bring up sad memories. Yeah. Sorry, man.
Yeah, this is it.
Yeah. Although I have this. I'm actually borrowing this. And maybe somebody can help me with this. So this belongs to my friend. He's a next door neighbor where my other studio's at. It's a Univox Tape Echo. I can't get it to work. Although if I run a guitar through it and turn it up, it distorts really cool. But it's got and I want to look into this a little bit more. It's got this like cassette cartridge in it. But it's worn out. I mean, the oxide's falling off. It looks like somebody shoved toilet paper back there because like the little pads that are behind it fell out. It says, I need to look into this to see if I can get a replacement. I don't even know if the motor works. I messed around with it for a little while and used it as a distortion box. But I guess eventually I'm going to have to give this back to Rick. But yeah, check this out. This is where the cartridge goes in the back. It doesn't work. I got to figure out how to fix it with all my spare time. And then I got to see if I can get any more of this, or I don't know. I'm wondering if I can. I'm afraid if I open it up, I was thinking like, I could open it up. That looks like cassette tape width to me. I could take apart another cassette because I've got some blank cassettes in the back. Take this apart. Thread some tape on here and put new tape in here, but I might destroy this, or maybe I can buy another one of these. Anyway, it goes in the back here. And then I want to use this thing. Oh, hold on. I need to get in touch with Rick anyway. Rick Austin is a friend of mine. He's got tons of gear in his house. And then on the front, it's got a high and low input and a high and low output. Check it out. Maybe somebody knows something about this. Oh, hold on. I'm on the wrong camera. So I want to get this thing working. Tape delay. Have no idea whether this thing's any good at not or not. I don't know anything about this. I've never even heard of one. And I looked it up online. Not many people know about it. So anyway, that's another project.
Mark says that is a test tape. Try and get a new one, so to speak, or to reload it.
Yeah, I noticed it said test tape. I'm just afraid that if I took it apart, I tried to take apart an ADAT tape last year because it had gotten some mold in there, and I couldn't put it back. I did it on one that it didn't matter, but I totally could not put it back together. So I was like, well, that tape's done.
Mark also says in regard to your very sad memory about the Echoplex, he says, well, now it's an Echo Complex.
Oh man, I so regret. Like my advice to anybody is like, if you buy I don't care what it is, any kind of gear or whatever, don't get rid of anything. Someday you're going to go back and go, oh, I wish I had that thing I thought was a piece of crap. It's like, just don't.
Okay, hold on. I have to ask because I can't find it now. Sorry. What was the other thing I needed to make a note of?
Oh, tape flange, and it was by. Does this just say CMKMNK?
Oh, it's Crunk Monkey.
Crunk Monkey. See, I can't read. God, I need new glasses.
I had to get clarification.
Oh, Crunk Monkey. Okay, now thanks, Crunk Monkey. Now I got to do tape flanging. So that's going to happen. So I got Dimitri and Crunk Monkey tasking me with more work.
Mixmaster says there is now an Echoplex plugin.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, I got the plugin, but that's not as cool as it like something that I got to bang on once in a while that makes noise, you know. Okay, so there's a question here, Chris. I need new glasses. I swear I can't read this stuff.
Is it from Out the Way Pat?
Yeah, Out the Way. What advice? This is on YouTube. What advice would you give to a person who isn't a musician but has a good ear and wants to be involved in the creative process with artists? I mean, that could be as a producer. And here's the thing. A lot of the great producers are not musicians. They just know how to guide people. You could produce. You would have to. There's going to be a very specific kind of artist that you're going to want to work with. You're going to need to learn how to communicate. You're at least going to need to know enough about music to have some input on direction. You could do that because I've actually worked with people like, for instance, Crystal here. It's not a musician and actually has terrible pitch, I'm sorry to say. But by God, she's got a great ear. I always go to Crystal. I'm like, hey, Crystal, what do you think of this? What do you think of the lyrics? Like, Crystal's my number one person I ask about songs and also like song orders for albums and all that. She's got a great ear for that. And there's been a lot of people that are like that. You know, the guy, George Martin, who produced the Beatles. Actually, no, George Martin, I think he did play piano. But Rick Rubin doesn't play anything. There's that. The other thing you could do is you could write lyrics. Oh, who's that guy? Oh my God, he's a real famous songwriter. Wrote a bunch of Aerosmith hits. Desmond Child. Desmond Child doesn't play anything. I know people that have worked with him that said, oh my God, he doesn't know anything about music. He's like, I like that funky chord. You know, he doesn't know any of that. He just will come up with a little idea and lyrics and all that. And yeah, he's written songs. So, you know, I do feel like having a good ear is probably the best thing, because I do know people who are great musicians and singers, but they don't necessarily have an ear and they don't know how to hear things. So I don't know. Just start hanging out with people. Like, you'll probably have to invent your own career if you want to get into it. See what you're talking about, and it's kind of the same thing with me because I do a lot of different things. I don't really fit in anywhere. I had to kind of invent my career. I'm still doing it. So the number one thing, though, is just start hanging out with people. Go to bands that you want to make friends with. Maybe offer to help them. I don't know. It's going to be hard to get in because they're not going to trust you if you're not a musician. But You know, eventually you'll gain people's trust if you can come up with good ideas that actually make a difference.
I'm going to slip in here and point out that your very short stream is now like an hour and 15
Oh, yeah,
minutes.
and I got to go somewhere. Be aware of the little strings inside. Oh, you're talking about the ADATs? Yeah, I'm not taking one apart ever again. Well, I'm going to probably go here, guys. Can you throw up that link one more time? I've
Sure.
got a new YouTube video out. If everybody could go watch it and get me some views on it. Maybe I can start actually making some money on there so I can do this more often and make more cool videos like tape flanging videos. And
also, everybody keep an eye out for the next video. Hopefully it'll be on Wednesday.
the next video, that's the big one.
Yeah.
The one,
It's
the
kind
one
of
I
a response to some of the comments that you got that were asking about, you know, ways to help put more human touch into music today.
Yeah, and the video I just put out today, it's a edit of this last Wednesday's live stream answering the most commonly asked question, which is, how do I get work as a producer, mixer, or engineer? I get asked this question all the time, so I thought, well, let me just make a video and talk about it. And it's not just about getting the work, it's about things that you need to think about before you get the work. And I made that video just as a way to, so if anybody asks, I can just say, just go look at the video. There's a lot of information there. That's what I put up today, if you're interested. So please go check that out.
And let's point out that hangout on your Discord is created. Casey grabbed.
Oh, thanks,
set that up.
Casey.
So if folks want to go and share music and so on and so forth.
Yeah, check out the Discord. We're getting that thing up to speed. And once again, I always say this, if anybody wants to hire me as a consultant or something like that, or for anything, I do a lot of consulting. I talk to people about mixing, production. Even I've got one guy that always wants to talk about, last time we talked about OBS and filming and stuff like that. You can hit me up at contactbillyhume@gmail.com. If you join my Patreon at the highest level, you get one consultation a month plus all the other things that are scattered on my Patreon. But I am going to end the stream because I actually need to work on a video, and I am going to go outside for a few minutes if it's still light outside, hopefully. Anyway, thanks so much for joining the live stream today. I appreciate it. I'll be back Wednesday for another live stream. In the meantime, please check out my videos on YouTube. Everybody have a good day. Be creative, be good to each other, and be unique. Take 1, take 2, take 3, take 4, take 5, take whatever.